We're back on the road. Market down 608 today. This is what you better start looking at. Silver and gold, true assets. Things are happening. Guys, down here in LA today. I hate LA, but we had some meetings down here, me and a friend of mine, so we thought we'd stop off. The market is down about 400 points right now. Housing outlook looks horrible. The numbers are coming in, sales are down, new housing sales down, housing stocks down. So we thought we'd come by and buy more of this. I think these markets are giving us more and more warning signs every day. The volatility, these market swings of 400, 500, 600, 700 points in a day is telling us something. You need to wake up and start paying attention to this and start stacking up on assets. And two of the most undervalued assets in the entire world are gold and silver. So we took some time out of our day up here in LA to stop by. A lot of these stores are very limited in their inventory. It's getting harder and harder to get, as a lot of you have noted. So we bought a nice purchase today, each of us, and of gold and silver. This stuff is at basement prices. So I don't know who would be going into the housing market at this point or into the stock market. It is so overvalued. Hard assets, hard assets. Take a look at what's going on around the world, what's going on in this country, and these markets. Time to wake up. Market's down about 450 points right now. We just stocked up on some gold and silver and getting out of the asphalt jungle here. I hate Los Angeles. It's a totally negative vibe. It's just really dirty and disgusting in my opinion, but we're getting out of here as fast as we can. Gonna head over to the 511 store now, grab some lunch. But successful day, some nice metal, combination of gold and silver, and we're just hedging against what we see coming to these markets. And right now, this is the fourth straight day down, and again, these humongous market swings of 400, 500, 600, 7-point swings. The volatility that we're seeing is telling you something. It may be the canary in the coal mine. We're down over 500 points right now. All gains made for the year 2018 have been erased. So you have a choice to make. Are you going to deal with the uncertainty of where this is all going, or are you going to wake up and insure some of your wealth with hard assets? Because this is just the beginning. You know, as we drive down I-10 here, cruising through LA, and you look at the vast amount of people out here, this huge population, how many of these people are linked to the stock market, who are linked to these algorithms, who are linked to paper? And whether you know it or not, one way or another, you are linked into these markets. Your pensions, your 401ks, your money markets, it's all linked into these markets. And could you imagine if you saw economic calamity taking place in a city like LA, where we saw real serious economic problems and economic collapse, what you would be dealing with in these urban areas? These areas are so overpopulated, and people are so used to scanning a card and getting what they want. Can you imagine if this system failed, what these people would do? What would the survival rate be in a city like Los Angeles? I mean, it would be panic, chaotic, craziness. And every day people trust in this system, they believe in this system, they believe that these banks and these brokerage houses and these investment companies have their best interests at heart. This thing is hanging on by a thread, and you better pay close attention to what is going on in this country economically and socially. Big changes are coming. Hey guys, JB, let's get right into it right now. Today, the markets were absolutely crushed. All the gains for 2018 were wiped out across the board in all these markets. NASDAQ, S&P, Dow, all wiped out like that. We're seeing a slowdown in many sectors: retail, restaurant, auto, and home. Ford today was down 4.77%, GM down 5%. Just like that, just how fast this can happen. These auto dealers across the country, these auto dealerships across the country have been reporting since these interest rates have been creeping up. They're seeing dramatic slowdowns in the purchasing of new autos. So this is starting to affect business. Housing, August to September, we saw a decrease in sales of 5.5%. And sales from last September to year to date this September down 13.2%. That is enormous. So I think another sector we're going to see major slowdowns in is going to be commercial real estate. And I am starting to see, at least here in Riverside County, a large amount of commercial real estate vacant, piling up, building after building, storefront after storefront of vacant commercial buildings. So we'll have to keep an eye and see what happens in the commercial sector, but I think that we're going to see some serious problems happening in commercial real estate as we're starting to see with this housing bubble, housing sales decreasing in double digits. So this is just a sign of more bad things to come, and this is just the beginning. I think we're going to see multiple crises happening politically, financially, and socially. So we need to be prepared for that. There's no escaping this. There's no hoping it's going to go away. Denial is a very strong emotion, but you can deny all of this as much as you want. You can laugh at it. You can hope it goes away. But I believe this is just the beginning. And sure, the markets may bounce back tomorrow or next week, but this is the canary in the coal mine telling you this much volatility. We literally had an 800-point swing today. This is not normal. At the end of the day, it's all about debt. And the dollar and the people's standard of living is going to change immensely. We've been used to literally 0% interest rates for over a decade. And now all of a sudden that we're getting realistic, even below realistic interest rates. This is telling us how fragile this economy and this financial system really is, because if it cannot handle, quarter point rate increases, and we're seeing these kinds of troubles, this amount of cracking after a quarter point bump, a half a point bump. Rates are still very, very low. We're at a little over 5% on a 30-year fix on a home, and it's affecting the entire market. This is telling you just exactly how fragile this system is, and that things aren't as good as they've been telling us for many, many years. And everybody's lifestyle, their standard of living is about to change, because the two things that are going to suffer here, the two casualties of all this, are going to be the US dollar and your standard of living. And if you're not prepared for this, you're going to have a very, very hard time adjusting for this new standard of living, because this is going to affect everybody, whether you want to believe it or not. These markets are connected to everything. Everybody and everything is loaded with debt. You look at the individuals in this country. You look at household debt is now exceeding $15 trillion. You look at corporate debt. You look at the federal government. You look at local government. You look at state and county, all that. And it's all loaded with debt. And so these small increases in interest rates, what it's going to cost to service all this debt is going to be, it's going to change the standard of living for a lot of people. This is going to tell us a lot when these invaders, these illegals hit our borders. This is going to tell us a lot how President Trump is going to handle this and how America is going to handle it. You know, if a country cannot protect its citizens, do we really have a country? If this government is not willing to protect its citizens, what are we? If these people make it in, as millions already have, are we going to be fighting these people at some point in a civil war in America? I mean, now today we see, bombs being planted everywhere. And of course, I think this is a total false flag. I think that this is the left using movie props for bombs and committing a false flag here, that we're going to have sympathy now for the Democrats. People are going to have sympathy for the Democrats, or it's going to show that the right, that the conservative, that the patriots, that the Republicans are barbarians, terrorists, domestic terrorists, and that we're planting bombs, in George Soros's house, and Maxine Waters and Barack and the Clintons and all these people. But again, most of these were fake. Most of this is just a false flag for sympathy for the Democratic Party. And at the same time making the conservative Republicans look like terrorists. And so I think this is totally made up. I think that whoever's doing this, I think they're definitely working for the left. And this is a tactic that's been used many times in many different events. So I would not put it past them one bit. Isn't it, again, all about, I mean, look at the timing, right before midterms again. We have a caravan, we had Kavanaugh, now we have, fake bombs at people's houses, and, now we're going to be deemed domestic terrorists, the Republican Party. So these are just absolutely crazy times. But again, these Democrats who want you to fear Russia, who want you to allow in 20,000 invaders from South and Central America, these are the people that want to disarm you and take your guns away. They want to let in terrorists. They want to let in gang members. They want to let in MS-13. They want you to be, frightful that the Russians are coming too. And so at the same time, they want to disarm us, which, I mean, there's no more important time in America that you should be arming yourself, loading up a brass, training, and buying a gun and a rifle. There is no more important time than right now to be prepared financially and physically and spiritually. And if you don't have a gun by now, if you're not stockpiling ammo, if you're waiting for something to happen, it's going to be too late. You'll be a victim. So take my word. Prepare right now while you can. Don't do it when something happens, because bullets and guns are gone immediately. Everything will be gone at every store every round of ammo at Walmart will be sold within a day. So don't be waiting for something to happen. Just do it right now. Again, getting back to these invaders, you look at these people coming over, 70-80% of these people are young males. I mean, any country can look at this. This looks like Europe with the Muslim invasion. I mean, these are a majority of males, very young to mid-20s, late 20s, and any country can tell you this looks like an invasion, especially when people are waving their own flag from the country they're leaving and coming to yours, waving their flag. This is a full-on assault, a full-on invasion of America, and people better wake up and not allow this to happen. This president and this government better protect its citizens and not allow this to happen. If they do, I'm going to lose a lot of faith in this president. I'm going to lose a lot of faith in America. And again, these are going to be people, if they're let in, we're going to be dealing with them at some point. Because I'll tell you what, now with this whole thing of bombs being thrown around today, they are taking it to another level. And we are getting closer to a civil war. And I hate to say that, and I hate to be sounding like a conspiracy theorist, but this is reality. Since Trump got in office, the civil war has started. It was started in Washington. We've had politicians shot, assaulted, and now we have a massive invasion coming up our border here. So this is no conspiracy theory. This is reality, and it's unfortunate that we've come to this point, that this is what we're looking at. Let's just talk about the illegal aliens that we're paying for here right now, and what great law-abiding people these are, that, the people that will assimilate to America. Let's talk about what we have right now and what you and I are paying for as taxpayers. There are 55,000 illegal aliens right now in federal prison that you and I are paying for. There are 297,000 illegal aliens in local or state prisons that you and I are paying for. And that's from 2016. So this number is much bigger right now. That is a total of almost $8 billion a year that we're paying to house illegal aliens, people who should not be here in America, that have committed serious crimes. We are spending $8 billion a year for. Is this unbelievable? Is this what, does the American taxpayer, does the American citizen deserve this? I mean, we are housing people here in America at the rate of $8 billion a year in our state, local, and federal prisons. Guatemalan intelligence told Fox News, I believe it was last night, that in this caravan that's coming over, there's gang members, there's MS-13 members. There is a significant amount of people with criminal histories in this caravan. They arrested a lot of people in Guatemala, but not everybody was arrested. A lot of people slipped through the cracks, and more people are being added into this caravan as it continues north. And when you look at these people in Mexico right now, they are trashing the streets of Mexico. And you know damn well Mexico would never allow these people to stay in Mexico. They would have instead of having 18 guards at their border, they would have had 18,000 military men at their border if these people were invading Mexico. But since they were just passing through, they only had 18 guards there and pretty much just let them come right on through. So as their journey continues through Mexico, they're trashing wherever they're at. They're sleeping in trash, sleeping on trash. Obviously, somebody's paying for all this food, all this water, their clothes, their shoes. And everywhere this caravan goes, it's a pile of trash. So you can bet if they made it into America, this would just be another group of people littering, trashing America, taking more subsidies. You know, it just goes on and on and on. They said that there's people from Africa, India, the Middle East, Bangladesh, you name it. There's people from all over the world in this caravan who have snuck into this caravan and are traveling with this caravan right to our borders. And again, including MS-13, cartel members, very, very bad people with criminal records, criminal histories of violent crime, murder, rape, assault. And if these people are allowed to come into America, you know, I feel bad for the families whose daughters, wives, kids who are going to be victims of more crime from more illegal aliens. So America better stand up to this and make an example to people who are coming to our border. Otherwise, the next caravan is going to be 50,000 people, 100,000 people, a million people. We might as well, again, let the entire world come up through our southern border if we cannot stop, 10 or 15 or 20,000 people. Right. This country invented cars. It invented airplanes. It invented computers. It invented medical, all kinds of medical technology, computer technology. Some of the greatest inventions in the world were invented here in America by Americans. And so do people think they're just going to come invade this country and take it back, even though there was nothing to take back? Take it back to what? Take it back to the third world, like where everybody from Mexico and Central and South America lives in the third world? Why would you want to take it back? You're all coming here because you want the free money because of the success and development of America. Again, why isn't Mexico making cars, making airplanes, making computer technology, inventing new technologies? Why isn't Guatemala, Venezuela, El Salvador, why aren't those countries making and inventing new cars and technologies, computers, new medicines? They can't. America is the greatest country in the world. And we do not want to be pulled down to a third world country. And that's exactly what's going to happen, because all of these people coming here from all over the world are bankrupting us. We have our own problems. We have our own crime. We have our own financial issues. We don't need to be burdened with the rest of the world's crime and financial issues. If we cannot take care of ourselves, we cannot help take care of any other country. you've got to be an independent, free-thinking human being. And a lot of people are watching the signs right now and ignoring what's happening in this country and what's happening financially. And people can hope again. They can hope this away. They can deny what's happening and just say what goes down is going to come up. And again, denial is a very powerful emotion. And a lot of people are going to hope and deny themselves into losing it all. So open your eyes, read the signs. Things are changing. America is changing. And at some point, we could see some very dangerous times in America. We could see some very horrific financial times in America. So please be aware. Everybody has to, make their own planning. I'm not a financial planner. Again, this is just what I'm doing, what people that I know are doing. And I know a lot of people who are doing nothing. A lot of people who trust the stock market, trust the banks, trust the brokerages, trust the government. I don't want to see things crash. If gold skyrockets and silver skyrockets, yeah, I do own some of that. And that's good. But I also know what it brings. It's going to bring a chaotic, dangerous time to America. If gold is exceeding $5,000 and silver is exceeding $100 or more, whatever these metals could go to, it's going to be a scary time to leave your house. So keep that in mind. People are hoping that things are going to come crashing down. I hope that they don't. I hope that I never have to use my gold and silver. I can just look at it. It's always going to have a value. But the day that it comes where we start seeing crazy numbers, accelerating numbers in the metals market, that's going to be a time that we know is going to be a very scary, dangerous time in America. So let's stay awake, say our prayers, pray for this president, and keep prepared. God bless.